Hello everyone, Terra here and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be another Transformers review, but before we go on with the review itself, I would like to thank you for 100 subs. We're one step closer to the goal of 1k subs, and please continue on with your support and it's much appreciated. So let's get on with the figure itself, and there you have him, Energon's Landmine. So this is one of the Autobots from the Energon series, and as I've said in one of my videos, the Energon is the second part of the Unicron trilogy, and there's not much to be said about the series other than that it's basically the continuation of the Decepticon and the Autobot war. And as far as the actual Energon series goes, the gimmick, let's say, was that if you had two Autobot characters, they could combine together to form a bigger, stronger bot through the Power Links ability. And in the case of the actual toys, if you have like two Voyagers or Deluxe class figures, I think it were specific figures, they had this, specific connector which would allow them to put together to form a bigger Transformer, which is quite interesting. But this character doesn't have it. So going on to the figure itself, as for coloring, it's quite a bright colored figure. You have this orange for the most part of the figure, and then you also have this gray color on the back section where the crane is. You also have the same on the base of the crane and here at the front on top of the wheels, and then you have an even darker gray for the front wheels and the fake treads, which have some really nice detailing on them. Very nice sculpting considering this figure is quite old. Yeah, underneath you can pretty much tell that these are the legs, but other than that, it's pretty much covered. And then going on to the front, you have this, I'm not sure if this is like silver or I think it's like a gunmetal color for the plow, and then you have some weathering with a darker gray on the lower section, which is quite cool. And then what else? You also have this light blue color on some of the sections here and here at the back, which are mostly used for the bot mode. And last but not least, you have this really nice clear yellow plastic for the windshield, which is see-through and you can see clearly inside the seat, which is really nice touch, and you can see it from the top as well. Come on. Yeah, it's a bit too shiny. But other than that, for such an old figure, it's really detailed, and I quite like that. Now as for size comparison, here he is with animated Ultra Magnus. Just put them to the side. Here he is with Cybertron's Optimus Prime. That's a later class, and this is a Voyager, if I'm not mistaken. Here he is with Cybertron's Leo Prime. More or less similar size. Now I have to mention that this back section is removable, so it's a bit of a cheating going on here, so yeah. And here he is with Transart's Rat Trap. Very shiny metallic figure. So before we go on to the actual transformation, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this back section. It's just pegged onto two tabs. Yep, like so. So you have two holes here, which go onto these two tabs. And I'm just gonna leave this off to the side. There's like And there he is, Landmine in his robot mode, and I have to say it's not too shabby and quite show accurate, to be honest. But I think quite a lot of the Armada, Energon and Cybertron figures are quite show accurate. I think the show was basically built on the figures themselves. So getting a closer look onto the head sculpt, we can see the clear yellow for the visor. This one has cracked a bit, I think it's due to the old age. And it's got a really nice design faceplate with this really dark blue going on around the face. And you get this bright reddish face design, which looks a bit weird if you ask me, but I guess it's quite show accurate. And the clear yellow eyes, which is quite good looking. If you shine some light through it, you can see it all glowing from the inside, which is a really nice touch. So moving on to the rest of the body, we have the same color palette more or less, again with the orange, big red Autobot sigil logo, and you have a bit more of this light blue now appearing on the arms, on the shoulders, and on these skirts here. And that's pretty much it for the color. Now as for articulation in this mode, starting from the head, you have a full rotation around 360 degrees, but he cannot move up or down, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest, but oh well. Then you have a upwards shoulder movement on this hinge right here, and then you can also rotate the shoulder 360 degrees. These are movable, and you have a 90-degree bend on the inside of the shoulder. You've got a 90-degree bend on the elbow, and no finger or wrist articulation. Going on to the waist, no waist rotation because of the transformation design, I guess. And moving down onto the legs, you do have a 90-degree outward bend. You can move the leg backwards 90 degrees, and front just a bit under 90 because of the design of the armor here. It won't allow it to go through. Then you have a 90-degree bend on the the knee, and the knee rotation 360 degrees, and then you have a bit of a heel bend. And the feet are quite interesting because you do have you have a ball joint on the inside of the foot there, and then you have a pin here, a rotating hinge, and then you have again a pin and a rotating hinge here. But the way they're designed, I mean, you can only really just move it onto that connector here for it to be actually usable. So yeah, and that's pretty much it about the articulation. Now when you do add this part, you get some extra, which I'm gonna go on later on. So to add these parts onto the robot mode, basically you just have to detach these treads from the main body, and looking underneath here you have two large connectors on each side, and you basically just have to pull it off, and it's quite tight. Yep, there it is. These things, there is no specific way of adjusting them as far as I know, but what you want to do is just flip the weapons upwards and just rotate this. Sorry, let me just move this out of the way. Yep. You just have to rotate this part like so. And these two connectors are gonna tab into the back on these two pegs. Just like that. So you do it just like that, but as soon as this piece is added, he becomes really back heavy. So you need to position a bit the ankles so that he can balance himself. There you go. And then basically you have these two holes on the inside of these arms that go onto the two pegs just behind his forearms, but you want to flip the fist back inside to do it. So you just push this back in on both sides like that, and just come in and tap these parts onto the forearms. So there you have Landmine in his powered up mode. I'm not sure if this is considered like a power links mode, but he's looking quite good, I have to say. He's big and strong, you know. These hands I really like these hands, but I would like to see like another third finger in the middle to, you know, have the triple hook grip. But other than that, it looks quite good. The only bad thing about it is that you have this really big backpack, which makes him really back heavy. And I mean, this exists because you do have some sounds coming out from here, but the batteries have died, so I can't really show it. And other than that, you do gain some articulation on the hands, and basically now you have a single hinge on each finger that can move up and down, and then you also have this joint here and a bit of a tilting on the inside of the claw. As for size comparison, here he is with Iron Factory's Primal Commander. Here he is with Transmetal Optimus Prime. Just move him onto the side. And here he is with Lego's Venom. Yeah, Venom is quite taller, but on the overall, let's say, bulk, they're about the same. Here he is with Six Shot. G-Creation Toys 6-Shot, and I have to move the camera quite back to actually see them both together. And here he is with Leo Prime, who's also a Voyager class, so you can see they're pretty much at about the same height. I mean, Leo Prime is a bit taller, but just slightly. So another gimmick I forgot to mention is that you do have a missile that goes onto this slot and you can fire it, and also you have a working tow cable. So if you pull this, it extends. This thing should be able to stay in place, and when you press this down it should retract, but for some reason it seems like it's not functioning, or maybe I've done something to it. Oh well, I mean, it's an old toy and these things tend to happen. So overall thoughts about the figure. To begin with, you have a really show accurate figure considering how old it is, and you do get a decent amount of articulation, you get bright coloring and a decent amount of detailing, plus the sound gimmick, the functioning missile launcher and the working tow cable, which is quite amazing. And overall it's a very playable and sturdy figure, and the one thing I was wrong about earlier and forgot to fix is that this was released as an Ultra class because of the sound feature, even though skill wise is closer to a Voyager or a later class. So I would rate this as a 3.5 out of 5. Unfortunately, you can only get this on places like eBay for about $100, maybe more, in mint condition. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again for 100 subscribes, and until next time, stay geeky and have a great day.